And like we do it every Saturday, we look at issues that concern us as a society. And in Anambra, how do we build a sustainable future? Since the governor of Anambra State came into power, he's been talking about disruptive change. He's been talking about effective ways of creating a society that is independent, self-reliant, and that can sustain itself. And we cannot do that by doing things the way we've been doing it over and over again. We want to rethink our steps, reconscientize from the basis, from the grassroots. And that is why we want to look at the solution agenda this morning and grassroots integrated development. How do we cascade, or how are we cascading this message of the solution agenda to ensure that at the grassroots level, these developments start from there. These developments are integrated right at those levels.
And you know, to do justice to that particular topic, we felt that the transition committee chairman just recently clocked 1 year in office. And we felt, who will know more about grassroots if it's not transition committee chairman? And we have one of them who celebrated something I would not like to unseal yet. I won't like to unseal it yet. I would like to give him the honor because I am sure it took time to think of such a huge one. And we have the transition committee chairman of Anambra East local government area, and that is Dr. Anselm Honora. Doc, you're welcome to the weekend show.
Thank you, moderator. Good morning.
I said I don't want to unseal. You go wear t-shirts. Oh, okay. So I would like to look at grassroots integration of development. What exactly do we mean by that first? Before then, Biko Kambutu. It's Exactly. Just help me mix it up so that we can get to Mandina no Igbo, Mandina da no Igbo.
That's good. That's part of the grassroots.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Because majority in the ban, because asụsụ ka anyị na achọba ịsụ mgbe ọbụla. Nwere ndị na-asụ asụsụ oniti rinne na ba anyị, mana ndị ba anyị agba ọbụla ife gbasatalụ grassroots. Asụsụ anyị bụ part of that grassroots. So daalụ rinne n'inyere anyị ohere ime ngili Igbo na etu esi akpụ ya. When you talk of grassroots, we are talking at the people at the, when I use the word lowest, not in the negative way, part of the society, in terms of those who are living in the ward, because the ward is the lowest part of political ranking within the communities and villages. So you're talking about what is Mr. Governor saying or doing in Oka? How will somebody in my village, Umuhoba Anam, hear, participate, feel what Mr. Governor is saying here? How will somebody in Aguata, in another local government also, feel, participate, according to their own conditions, feel the same thing? I think that is when you talk of grassroots impact, that when the chief executive says something, then how do you begin to descend the message, cascade the message, take it down to different parts of the Anambra, so that at every point and every location is making meaning to them.
Yeah.
So that is what you say, that you are beginning to cascade the message from the top to bottom. And part of our responsibility as those who are closest with our council members, part of our responsibility is to see how to take the message, go back to our various local governments, meet with stakeholders, dissect the message, and begin to apply it the way it will fit our people. What works in Olumba may not work in Anambra East.
Certainly.
What works in Anambra East may not work in Anambra West. So it's part of our responsibility to begin now to go down and begin to discuss. And it's not something you just go because we are the transition committee chairman and begin to tell people do this, do this. We must engage the people, because if they don't carry the message down, if you don't effect it, if they don't act on the message, it means like pouring water on stone. So engagement by the people in charge, looking at the transition committee chairman as one of the stakeholders, because there's other stakeholders. You talk of religious leaders, you talk of the traditional rulers, the traditional institutions, you talk of the president general, you talk of the women leader, you talk of the youth. Because many of the things you do that involves to come out to do is the youth that will come and do it. Mobilize the people to come. So think of how you engage the people, sample opinion, and people take whatever they have said and now begin to go to different communities. And so even within your own local government, what works in community A may not work in community B. So you see, it's a lot of engagement, thinking, and working together. And sometimes setting back your own personal interests and need and ideas. Even though you are the chief executive, but sometimes it's not all the 100% of your own personal ideas. You have to consider people. So grassroots involves a lot of work, involves a lot of patience, because you may be singing far, far, far. Somebody is singing do, do, do at the back. So you have the patience to carry the person along. The person who is singing do may not be what because he wants to sing do, but that is his own level of understanding.
Yes.
So you have to exercise patience and carry everybody along.
Maka, ebe goes to catch up. Some issues he raised is very important. That near work on Omo, for instance, might not be the same thing that you work on Omo. Exactly. These communities where their own personal challenges.
Yes.
As society has called side but I say no one can say me fair. And that understanding, not one when say me fair, but to unua as a people get banyeta that community no open nature it is successful. Keduka has say me fair, keduka has say what this message. Keku unua say me and Anambra is. Keku say additional that now this if go engagement, but when you talk about engagement and there will still be dissenting tunes and people who are also being carried along. You could say I manage these different tunes that people might raise, and that people will say, "Na nku ebu neja bria kai mbogu an ebe kai ba na ebe chokunu ba." Kedu say me.
You know the Igbo word of that English word of dialogue is ehaz ohu. And ehaziokwu means attuneness.
Yes.
Things that are scattered, begin to attune them, arrange them. In ahazie. Alignment.
Yes.
Begin to align the words, see if they become strict or become the same level. So what we normally do, like I said, is engagement. When we have a message to pass or something to execute, first we call a stakeholders meeting and sample opinion. This is what we want. How do we do it? So begin to hear people, begin to hear different opinions. Then first, when we agree that this is what we want to do, of course, part of the things we preach that don't stay at your comfort zone. We've been at this comfort zone so long. Don't insist that this is how you used to do it, as it was in those of you who are Catholic, we say as it is the beginning, so shall it be. And so we begin to tell people to allow some fresh air to come in, also make a shift from your different opinion. We also begin to do town hall meetings. We take it to the people, because of course when you call for community stakeholders meeting, there's some persons that may not be able to come. It's when you go to the town hall meeting that will be able to meet others also who the opinion may count will not be able to come when you call for stakeholders. So we take the message down, not only calling only stakeholders at maybe the local government secretariat or anywhere, but you now begin to dissect the message down to different communities. And again, we allow people, because that's the beauty of community, we allow each community also to go and execute the project according to their own pattern and according to their own lifestyles. And sometimes what we provide is the leadership, the direction. That this is where we want to go.
All right.
And Mr. Governor will always say, don't report activities, report results. So when we give them that, what we will provide is the results, the end. What is the byproduct we want to add? Everything we want to do. What is our aim? Peace, progress, infrastructural development. So when you go to your own community, whichever line you want to do, provided is fair and just, the end result is peace. I'm just using as an example. Exactly. The end result is infrastructural development. The end result is to protect government facilities in your community. So we allow community that distinctiveness to go and do their own thing, but provided they follow the laid down rules. So that's part of the things we have employed to help us make progress in Anambra East.
All right, so I think it was last Thursday. This Thursday.
Yes.
So which one is this Thursday? The coming one.
This
Thursday is the last one. Okay.
Yeah.
So like 2 days ago,
Yes.
2 days ago, a lot of pictures from your events were flooding social media, and I kept wondering, ICDP. So please, can you explain to us how this your project, Solution ICDP, how it marries what we're talking about, which is the solution agenda and grassroots integrated development? Okay. How did this your solution ICDP get to the grassroots?
Okay. First,
what is it all about?
Yes, because that's where I went to take. The solution ICDP is a concept, okay, a development pattern that we've talked through. And okay, as a result of this stakeholders engagement, we've been in the office, glory to God, and thanks to Mr. Governor and the support of the Anambra East. We've been in the office for past 1 year. Of course, when we are coming, we came prepared, but you know, when you prepare for an event and you get into the scene, you begin to see the reality of the thing. So for past 1 year, we've made success, has been very eventful, has been very creative, but after 1 year, we said, we've learned from our experience. It's better we sit down, draw from our experience, and the ones, like I said, also giving room for other stuff. From what we've seen with stakeholders, it's good we sit down and get a development plan, a pathway where we want to go, so that we don't just react to event. So we also be proactive. So we sat down to develop what we call the Integrated Community Development Plan. Integrated Community Development Plan. We call it, of course, because our language is solution is here everywhere. So we now added the Solution Integrated Community Development Plan. It's part of this grassroots that we're talking about. How do we reach each community with filling their own pulses? How do we communicate this message? How do we develop each community? And we look at 7 key areas that we want to, by special grace of God, see what we can do to it. And with the document, as you may see, it's drawn from Mr. Governor's manifesto, Anambra Vision 2070, and the whole other document. But these are the key, the Transition Committee report as well as look at where we've looked at to draw these issues. And we talked about health, talked about education, talked about agriculture, talked about security, talked about infrastructure, talked about technology. So, and these are things that when you talk of Anambra East, you can easily relate. Talk of agriculture. 95% of the constituents are farmers, whether commercial or for private use. You talk of education. We are one of the local government that could say that educationally disadvantaged. So we think about it. We think of technology. We don't have it so much. So people need to be trained. We call it a technology for digital skills and vocational training. Not just learning, but how do you see technology as a tool for vocation and skill learning? And when we are launching this thing, like I said, Mr. Governor wouldn't want you to report activities. For health, which is number 1 in the key, because ndo buako, no onye dendo, as no onye dendo balo first. Yes, whatever thing that is coming is just jara in that sense. So we look at health. We be the Anambra State in where find about health insurance scheme. For 1 year, ijanu nogu, treat yege, enabalo onwe. I was say, if I get me, can you run the ban? Now this thing, target is 5,000 persons into the healthcare insurance scheme. We've done 1,500. We started with 1,500 already. By next 3 months, we do another 1,500. That is how we want to do it. And if we finish 5,000 and we see the result, because we can do another one. And the beauty of it is that majority of them go in Anambra East. So the money comes back to us again. The money will be spent in our local government. So Asia Hospital na Anambra East. So majority of ndị tinye gas menu go to Mumweri ma Aguleri, different places enwele. So if one ega fa na enye bu government ga-ejikwa megini develop kwa buy. So the solution ICD people, our development plan for the next few months, so that we don't just, yes, I can make it a more emergency, a reactive emergency, but about us, zombie no go, unless you tell them to go, zombie. So I was no, if I know a pathway I use, and I be me, I be no, mepe free ambulance.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
I am way, but I 112 kita.
Anambra East.
Yes, 112, which is the national emergency.
Okay.
When you call the 112, it's a national emergency number. Whoever no, because the ambulance is registered.
Yes.
They will direct you to, and they will now refer. They will call us, our room. They will call us, and somebody may say that maybe Naguled or whatever. And they pay us, so the victim doesn't need to pay. And we also saw our local government boss we launched also to help cushion the effect of high cost of transportation for staff at least. And we bendiolo ebo challenge ebo jefa apupa no to we befa ga no as a point enable to be feeling na be fine at micro level iji we make ndị mmadụ feel kere na solution na abiago n'obodo. So now be feeling the solution ISDP all 7 key areas abia security the okwu mmanwụ and ara ekwuchi ya n'ilo. And we are using technology, and to the glory of God, Anambra is the peaceful. We talk of agriculture. We started even doing the email if I never go soft loan to farmers. EG Abasia Kita Nana, I will go up to Mado 4,000. I soft loan with just nothing to return, just return the capital. If I just sit in here return the capital, I have a sense of responsibility. Nobody again, TB Colombia more Tiba Bogobia. So I get a matter of 4,000 soft loan for gauge wage invest in agriculture. So now be fair solution SDP. So okay. It's a development plan.
Because I've been following your activities.
Yes.
What you've been doing in Anambra East. In fact, since you assumed office, Manobu for this issue of sustainability. Have you thought about Anambra East beyond you? What are you doing to ensure that some of these structures, some of these foundations in LA now, put a system that will even outlive you?
Yes. If Madonna de Ikukebezo might be fair, audition where I am, a man at Beleki and Ebe, Kamage, Kag, more at all, they can give my. Ebony can no be if you never know them. You never can come on, or I come. But as a government, that's why we are making a lot of stakeholders engagement. Can the madu malo nefa de one on if I have rocket science, so that when people know on your zona bata, we also know that nobody made up and the madu gaju. That sense of responsibility is, I think, the first prime of sustainability. Open the 2 on ever name alone. Open a beer always. Naya Juroga. Only can Malon open or beer always. Naya Jura. If you now studio and food, the young model staff. Man, for the fact name and open a beer all, they negi memo or query. Each ibini and one activities and a man studio. Radio station and one Ganiru. Now the first prime of Guinea sustainability. So the sense of people owing what we are doing. And if I be if the government. All people with government. So that's why we are doing a lot of publicity, a lot of stakeholders engagement, a lot of teaching. But apart from that, we talk of environment. Let me give you an example, for instance, because it's the heart of Mr. Governor's project. When we clean up environment, we call the people within that area to educate them. Apart from that, we've cleaned it. You have a responsibility living close to this place. Now, bad the attitude. No, go about first person get butoya. Oburoya non a local government, Oburoya government officer non a local government secretariat, for instance. Moonyo lu ibusi biabia. The first person need look eba di otabongima. Go ta di niru begi. Onya iti no kwa ndizo so na maro kwa if anna bu mechai if o kam han tinye na gota. Bu yimu kan na megini kan nebu ndomo. You explain to the person the way the person will understand. So the sustainability plan letting the people own the project first, because automatically or dead on arrival project come. So water if in akuzi sunu gine emia because onye ga-abịachi ndị ga-achị ọchịchị na Anambra is eyeluru mmadụ 500 ma ndị olu oyibo ma ndị ife niile at a point mana ndị na-achị lu 2000 3000 so mgbe mmadụ 3000 mma na ị kwesịrị ikpocha ụza ọ bụ na ikpochara fa jụọ gasị so ifu na ngị nwa na onwe gị ga-anọ na your toe all the time so ife anyị na-eme bụ ka anyị karịa onye ọbụla niile along na-akụzili ifa na your responsibility ndị youth na ife unu ga-eme unu mere ana nka ụmụ agbọghọ ụmụ okolobịa ndị na-eto eto na nkunu ya eme ndị nne nwaanyị na nkunu ga-eme ndị PG na ndị igwe na nkunu ya eme onye ọbụla na-eme nke continuously and it become part of the culture of the people na-emezi efu na ọbanye ego ndị mmadụ n'ọbala nke ime ịdị ezi iji ndị task force wee na-atụgharị ndị mmadụ megide ifu na ọ bụgoro ifefa na-eme because mgbe anyị na-eto eto a na-aza n'ilo ịza ilo be gị onye nke ọzọ aza ilo bie o nwere onye nne na nna gị ya pụta ụtọ achịsị gị jee za mgbeli ilo bifo ijebe akwụkwọ mgbe ọ bụ part of our culture pụta ife niile abụ ife dịzị ka asị na ọ na-anazi ya na so whatever we are doing we are putting it in people DNA to ha mmanụ na ihe a bụ ife a kwesịrị ime gị ime na ọ bụrụ sọsọ responsibility of government so that is the sustainability plan.
I say, man, time flies when you're having fun. Time has been flying while I've lost myself listening to your teachings. I like to say teachings because Soludo has a very strong team. Talking about team of transition committee chairman, but your ideas are unique in their own ways. The other person's ideas are also different. So I would like you to advise your co-chairman and like on one hand, and then advise members of the community in the other hand on how to ensure that this solution agenda gets to the grassroots. What can they do? Like, what advice do you have for your co-chairman, and what advice do you have for the community so that at the end of the day, this thing will get to all of us?
When you say advice, it seems I have gotten another portfolio, special advisor to the transition committee chairperson.
So you don't really know who is watching. They might be wondering what is he doing. Normally, this guy has been trending.
No, what I would say is to suggest. Or suggest few things that have helped me that others would
follow.
You know, sometimes when you advise people,
it's as if
not only when they do it and make mistake, you know, morally you have held responsibility for that. Morally you have held responsibility. But anyway, that's by the. But I know, as a team, like you said, the word is team. From our principal to it relates to everybody as a team. Or that have one in cast or no one or room or whatever. Can you know them or meet the equal and you think you know Kaluma or well, yeah. That is one beautiful thing about our principal process, Soludo. And within our own circulars in DTC, I never quite peer review. So what I would say, like we normally say, is few things that have helped me. All good, but few things that have helped me is that listening. Igente. Iwe ikine na ifa anyo nwelo mfine eme from a philosophical background, studied philosophy. And still na philosophy is like a big elephant. Onye the blind people that saw elephant. Onye metulu elephant aka na mpie.
They are calling her also.
Si na elephant bu so ogbugbu. Onye metu aka na nti ya o si na elephant bu na flat pan. Onye metulu aka na tail si na elephant bụ ọdụdụ. So you see, ebe imetụla aka, you feel it, but when you have open mind, onye follow ụzọ, agwaghị mba na the tail is part of the body of the elephant, the ear, whatever. So listening opens your mind. Part of this has helped me, like I said, when you call community stakeholders engagement, you listen.
Thank you. I think
we'll stop at this point.
I think the listen cut across.
Yes, cut across, even from members of the community. Yes. Thank you very much, Mayor of Anambra East Local Government Area, Dr. Anselm Honora. He's been joining us this morning to discuss the solution agenda and grassroots integrated development, especially from the angle of what he's doing in Anambra East Local Government Area. All right, join us now to our breakfast news studio for breakfast news at 8.